Hello and welcome to ETF Timer. I'm your host, William Boyette, and this is a new service that I just launched, and I would like to show you in this video how to make your first ETF purchase. Alright, so when you come to the main page, StockLocater.com/ETF Timer, you will have these little charts here, and these are the ETFs that we are timing. There's 7 of them, and you can see that FNGU here is the most profitable with a 4.29% gain per week. TQQ, LB, so they're ranked in order of profitability. Now, when it comes to buying your first ETF, it all depends on how much money you have. If you have a lot of money, maybe you want to buy them all. That's up to you. But if you only have a little money and you don't want to diversify, you just want to put it into one, that's great also, and we'll show you how to weed out the crowd here and get the best one for you. And more than likely, these numbers aren't going to change too much, so you only have to do this once and or just follow my recommendations, and you'll never have to do it again. So let's take a look here. I'm going to show you how to use these little charts. So, of course, our most profitable, the idea in the stock market is to make profits, so we don't want to be wasting time. So definitely we want to look at FNGU. Now the next thing we do is we come up here to the most volatile chart, and we can see that FNGU, being the most profitable, it's not the riskiest. It's down here in the middle when it comes to swings. The point is FNGU has the highest returns. It's not risky. It's way down here, and to me that makes it my #1 top choice. Now let's look at TQQ, the second biggest gainer, and you see also it's way down at the bottom when it comes to volatility. And the reason that volatility is so important is because even if you have the greatest system in the world with the greatest returns, you're not going to get those returns if you don't have the discipline to trade this strategy. An idea, here are the last 2 years returns, so if you click on this, you can actually come and see some of the last couple of years return. And one of them I wanted to point out is LABU. Now if we look at this one, you can see that it had 2 losers in a row here. It went from a portfolio of 115 down to 77. So that is what, a 25 or 30% loss. Here's a 24% loss. Here's one in one trade that had a 50% loss. So if you lost half of your portfolio, would you give up and quit, or would you hang in there? And as you can see here, even though this one didn't gain very much, it's 158%. Over the same 2 years, the stock market only did 42. So we did 3 times better. And so this is the price you have to pay to do 3 times better than the market, is you have to be willing to take these big losses. But you see it has many big winners too, 54, 42. So this one has big winners. And let's take a look at FNGU, which I said was my #1 choice. You can see the winners are not as big. Here's a 25% or a 27. So we don't see any 50% winners in here, but the maximum loss you're going to see is 18%. So, and look at the return, 623, which is 12 times better than the market. So this one has a much better return. You're not going to lose as much per trade, so more than likely you'll stick with it and do it, and that's important, so I want you to know that. So coming back to what we're going to pick, so FNGU, #1 choice, TQQ, our #2 choice. Now we come down to LABU, which almost has the same return as TQQ, but its risk factor is so much bigger. As we saw, we could lose 50% in one trade. So I would throw LABU out, put that one way down on my list. Now we have SOXL. 1.52, almost the same as LABU, and it's also up there and very volatile. So I would put this one maybe as my 3rd choice. And then you have UPRO and TNA. Look at the returns. They're both the same. But if we look up here, TNA is much more volatile than UPRO, so I would go with UPRO. So these are my final 4, FNGU, TQQQ, SOXL, and UPRO. I would concentrate on those 4. So now that we've got it eliminated down to the ones that we want to trade, let's move on. We come up here to the Trades button. Now this will take you into our members area. So remember we had our 4 ETFs, FNGU, SOXL, TQQ. These are both in cash waiting for a trade, so we don't have anything to buy today with those. We see that UPRO is already been bought here. It was bought about a week ago and for 107.70. So when you have an option to trade for something that's already in a trade, I kind of give that less points. I like to get it on the ground floor on the very first trade. This one's already given a trade, and the buy was for 107.70. And if we come down here and we can see the last closing price, it says 117. So this one has already risen 10%. So how much more is there to go? I would question that. And so to find that out, you come over here to the U-Pro. We can click on this, and you can see that the average return is 7%. So this is already well over the average return. So I was probably thinking that maybe the most of the gains on this one are gone. I would be careful on that one. So I would go with one of these up here, but as you see, we come down here to the buy targets. FNGU, it needs to drop 9.4% before it becomes a buy, so probably that's not going to happen tomorrow or the next trading day. SOXL needs a 6.7% drop, that's probably not going to happen. TQQ, it needs a 7.7, probably not going to happen. UPRO needs a 6%, probably not going to happen. So my four top choices we're going to have to wait on. And so if you're only going to if you have enough money to trade all four, you can then just set a limit order to buy at these prices. But let me warn you, these prices change every day. So if it doesn't trigger in 1 or 2 days, the buy price could be quite a bit different than what your order is for. So what I prefer to do, instead of doing all that extra work, is just watch it visually. None of these, all four of these need to drop at least 6% before we buy. And so therefore I can watch the market tomorrow. If I see one of them dropping 6%, then I'll come over here and see if it's close to its buy, and if it is, then I'll set my order to buy it. Otherwise, why even waste your time? And then tomorrow when the website updates, I'll come here and it'll give me an update. And so when this gets a little bit closer, then you could set your limit order. Now if you're really, really desperate, we do have TNA. It's giving a buy today. So we can apply to this the same thing as we did with UPRO. Let's see if it's extended. So the TNA was bought originally for $90, $89.66. Today it's at $97, so it too is already up 10%. If you click on TNA, you see it has the same average return as the UPRO. So if you wanted to go for this, since there was nothing to buy and this one is a buy, you could go just to get started here. But as you see, this one already has gone up further than its average return. And if we look at TNA over here, it was bought on May 24th. So this one's already been held about 6 weeks. And if we come back over here and look at the average holding time, it's 7 weeks. So this one right here, the move could almost already be over. So I don't think this one is worth wasting my time on. So personally, I would now just sit and wait for one of these ETFs to drop their 6%. When I see it drop to 6%, then I'll come over and check the buy price, because remember, today or tomorrow these prices will be different. So then I'll come and check the new buy price, set my order for that, and then I will be in. All right, so good luck on making your first purchase with ETF Timer. If you have any questions, you can watch the video again or use the contact link and contact us. We'll be happy to help you get started.